great to be here at the summit, and it's an honor also. I remember actually when I first saw Teemu, like I was hanging out with my friend in a restaurant day event, and I saw Teemu out there, and I told my friend that that's like the biggest influence. That guy will be the biggest influencer in this scene, and she was like, "Yeah, go talk to him." I was like, "No way!" Like he's like I was looking so much up to him, even though he hadn't really like started so much of his his work in this field, and now like many years later, he's like we're all here, so it's pretty cool, and it's an honor to be here. One question: do I actually have that many minutes? Because I was supposed to have 10.
Yeah, whatever. How much do you have there?
Well, let's see.
25 minutes?
What happens?
15?
Yeah.
Yeah, just go ahead.
Yeah, so in Finland I'm known as a health influencer. I guess I was voted a health influencer of the year like 2 years ago or something like that. And for the last 10 years or so, I've been teaching a framework kind of like this. When I look at the official nutritional recommendations or even nutrition science, there's not that much talk about quality usually, because quality is the variable that doesn't get measured that much, because we have to quantify things. We, like let's say, okay, here's an apple. So when we make a study or when we just want to communicate about food, it's too difficult to always talk about the quality. You just have to use words like apple or words like juice. And Jaakko Halmetyä, who's also speaking here, always says that we don't actually eat terms, we eat food. And when it comes to food, the actual quality within that category might actually mean more than the name of the category. So when I was trying to heal my chronic diseases about 15 years ago, it was very difficult to find any high-quality natural foods. And it was also very difficult to find any good information about how the healing process actually works in a natural way. But nowadays the situation is so much better. I'm so happy to just go to any supermarket and find some high-quality natural foods or things like that. And I'm really glad to go to the library or bookstore or internet or anywhere and find some really good information, like for example here, especially. But one thing that I feel like needs some work still is information about better strategies. Like we all more or less nowadays believe in more natural foods, but we try to change our habits kind of against our own nature. So personally, I'm not the kind of guy who can just use my willpower and start eating super healthy from now on and change all my habits. But let's say I am already drinking some juice, I can do an upgrade, especially if it's easy enough. Like usually when you get something of a better quality, it's of course healthier for you, but it also tastes better. So there's not a trade-off there. So that's why I'm quite stoked about choosing. It's been one of the great things for me. You can easily upgrade all your energy drinks, kind of just like this. And this has been very important for me in my healing journey. I believe in the idea that we as people, or even doctors, even specialists, aren't really that good at healing the body, but the body is very good at healing the body. But we, of course, need to give it the right ingredients that it needs to do its natural job. But we also need to give it some rest. Like many people know that, let's say, I have some ailment or I get ill, I need to rest. But it's also a good idea to take some burden of my digestion, so I don't feel so tired all the time. So having a glass of fresh green juice gives me huge amounts of nutrients without actually having to use much of my digestion. So that's really good thing if there's some difficult things going on in my life or in my body, or I just have to perform at my best levels. Yeah, this is how we usually do it, and this is actually how I've been doing it this week a lot. I've been borrowing a lot of energy. Usually I don't do much in terms of stimulants because it just doesn't fit my body type very well. Like in the Ayurvedic tradition, they would say that I'm a Vata type, which is like too airy and fairy and all of that. So if I take coffee, I just I become even more of my worst self, basically, and it really doesn't pay off in a good way. So, but this week I've a crazy amount of things to do and crazy little sleep, so I've been borrowing a lot of energy, and today I was feeling like I'm not gonna be able to do anything. I came a little bit late here and all of that, but if we can, like, especially in Finland, we drink a lot of this stuff and also that white sugar stuff, so I think this is kind of in a good way, the opposite of that. It's not just beating a dead horse and trying to get some performance out of our tired cells, but we actually get a lot of the stuff that gives us, that helps our body produce genuine energy without draining or depleting anything. I do a lot of knowledge work. I would really like to have an assistant or somebody just making me fresh juice at least once a day. It would be just completely awesome. Kids usually don't, sometimes kids don't want to eat their veggies, even if the veggies are of really high quality. Juicing helps a lot. How many people here make smoothies? Yeah, pretty much everyone. How many make their own juices? Not so many, but some. Yeah, both are really good. I think it's a good idea to make juice in the morning, take it on an empty stomach. Smoothie might be something for the day or even for the evening. Let's say that I want to begin my workday and I have a pile of really high quality fresh vegetables in front of me. If I want to eat all of those, it's going to be a lot of work. And I remember when I started making smoothies, I would go to the organic shops and I would get a lot of produce, but I wouldn't always eat them before they go bad. But when I got my blender, the problem was solved. And juicing is even easier way to get even more of those high quality fresh vegetables in the body. And it's also a very easy way to get all the colors of the rainbow. And in fact, you don't even have to worry about the colors so much because, like you can see from the leaves in the autumn, there are all sorts of colors in the green leaves. So if you choose green leaves or green shoots or whatever, there are other colors there too. But of course, you can use other colors of vegetables also. And one really good thing about making smoothies and making juices is that it encourages the body or adapts the body to vegetables in general. So then you'll probably crave more of those salads also, or just whatever form of eating vegetables. So that's a really good thing also. There's not a trade-off between like, should I eat the vegetables whole or should I juice or smoothies? It all goes together really nice. You can see from these guys that they've really done their juices because you can get a lot of carotenoids and you can see it in your skin. A lot of people say that you should put some oil on your juice, but I disagree because I've seen it so many times that when you start juicing a lot, even if you don't put the oils there, you still get that effect quite soon. So that's very interesting. I'm not sure why. This person has been doing her juices because she's really relaxed, but also feeling good at the same time. Like when you do juices, you usually feel quite relaxed and you also get energy. It's a really good combination. Can I still do? There's a little bit time because there are a few really good slides here. Yeah, well, anyway, I was getting to some speculations about why the fresh juice actually energizes you so much. There's this guy called Patrick Flanagan who talks about negative hydrogen ions. That's something, if you're interested, you should Google that and check it out. And then there's also a guy called Gerald Pollack, and he talks about the fourth phase of water. That's gaining some momentum in the biohacking circles nowadays. That also might explain why the fresh juice will energize you in a way that isn't really reducible to just the vitamins in there. This guy hasn't been doing his juices because once you juice a lot, you might get your hair color back. That's a really nice thing also. And then when it comes to buying juices from the supermarkets, you can't really get it fresh because of legal reasons and because of just the shelf life. So we can pasteurize it. But then there's the high pressure processing method, and that's I really want to support all those companies doing that. Of course, it's not the same as the fresh, but it's still a really good one. I would like to have one right now. I hope we can find some HPP juice around here. I'll go look for it. And I wish we can all support those companies because they are doing great work. Their margins aren't that high, and sometimes the juice can seem quite expensive, but it's because of the quality. So, yeah, my wish is just that when it comes to whether it comes to choosing or just food in general, we all start kind of studying what the quality is about, so we can really invest maybe double the amount of money for like 10 times the energy. Thank you. I'm running out of time.
Great, thank you. You can actually come back just for a second because, I mean, you're such a wealth of knowledge. Any audience questions to Olli here about juice and fresh stuff? Oh, there is in the middle. Right in the middle.
Yeah, really
Just a second, we have a mic runner coming over.
Hi.
Yeah.
Hi.
I have a question. When do you add superfoods to your juices? Like, for example, spirulina, ashwagandha, stuff like that? Or do you need to add them in juices, or are they only for smoothies?
You don't need to. You can, of course.
But what is like the good number to like 2 times a week, or?
I think 1 glass a day would be optimal. Of course, you don't have to do it every day. And if you crave more, then you can have more. Like, for example, if you'd had a long flight, then you might want a few glasses. I think when it comes to really fresh and really nutrient-dense food, the question about quantity becomes quite irrelevant, because when you need it, you crave it, and when you've had enough, then it's like, ooh, like it actually starts tasting bad. So it's quite easy to get the amounts right.
So sometimes the more is better, but I just have to feel on my own what.
Yeah, I mean, if you try to do much, you cannot. It's kind of the same as with, have you ever tried to eat too much of pineapple? You cannot, because it starts burning you. Or if you try to eat too many blueberries, they taste delicious and you're like, oh my God, I'm going to eat too much, and then at some point, I just cannot do anymore. Even though you haven't had really that many calories, because you've had just so much of the certain kind of nutrients, and your body just really closes the door on that one.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, yeah, definitely it's good to follow the signals that your body is sending. I have one question about juices and all that. Like, there's some discussion on smoothies that because digestion already happens in the mouth, and because you're not chewing them, you're just like shoveling them down. And often these types of plants, they need the saliva really to work out. So what's your recommendation on that? Like, should people make more like meaty kind of like smoothies, or should they like just like look down like 2 liters of juice?
Yeah, of course it will be a really good idea to enjoy the juice very slowly and kind of chew the juice, as some people say. But of course, like if the baseline is that people are drinking soda or whatever people are usually drinking, if you just upgrade that to fresh juice, no matter how you drink it down, it's like you're gonna do so much better anyway. And when you listen to these guys like Gerald Pollack and stuff, you kind of get the idea, and I feel that also experientially, that the properties of the liquid in the fresh juice is quite different. It really goes in quite fast. You can actually just chug down like a liter, and it doesn't stay here for long. Like you can feel it. If you drink a liter of just tap water, and like 5 minutes after you jump like this, you can feel the water jumping here. But
Yeah.
if you do that same with like a super fresh juice, even though you don't really chew the juice or anything like that, after 5 minutes, it's not there anymore.
Just a quick question, like, are you worried about spiking the blood sugar?
Yes, if it's orange and carrot and all of that, but if it's a real green juice like celery and that kind of stuff, and maybe a little bit apple and that,
Yeah.
then it's okay. And of course, you can start where you're at. If, let's say I'm starting out from Coca-Cola, then I can make a carrot juice, and it's better already. And then I can increase the amount of greens there, and it just keeps getting better. So I can be merciful with myself that I don't have to drink only celery and ginger the first day I start juicing, but I can take it in that direction over time.
Awesome. Thank you, Olli. Amazing info.
Thanks.
Yeah.